So I think it's very timely that as yesterday we celebrated Pentecost, we encounter Pentecost once again in our passage from the book of Tobit, in which he is celebrating the festival of Pentecost, which for the Jewish people was a commemoration of God giving the law to the Israelites 50 days after their departure from Exodus and from Egypt. And so instead of reading our first reading from Acts of the Apostles, which we've been doing from during the season of Easter, now we are into ordinary time. And I think it's appropriate that we realize the significance of a life of God and with Him, and the nature of our religion. It's not so much what we do, but what God does for us in terms of entering into mystery. Now we encounter Tobit, who's a very pious and merciful individual. Now as we read during the week until Saturday, that he encounters misfortunes to the point in which he becomes blind, and he wants to die as a result. I mean, it's one thing when people are healthy and able to do good works, yeah, wonderful. But what happens when misfortune comes? How often people feel, I have no more value and I want to die. But he doesn't die because he's got money in a city called Media. And so therefore he sends his son Tobias to retrieve the money. And on the journey he encounters Sarah. And Sarah wants to die herself because she'd been married 7 times. But on the wedding night, they all die because of this demon. And so ultimately that Tobias encounters Sarah. And so as we'll hear about what happens on this when they encounter one another, and the intercession of Saint Raphael in the midst of them to bring them comfort. Now what about us? We all encounter misfortunes, and maybe we think, well, where is a good God in the midst of my afflictions? But I think as we read from the book of Tobit, the importance of being in relationships, community, that we cannot do it alone. And as St. Paul, I believe it's in 1 Corinthians, says, when one suffers, all suffer. When one rejoices, all rejoice. That we are part of a community. That we are people of love. And love means entering into relationships. That we are part of a greater community. And so as we find inspiration in the book of Tobit of the importance of entering into relationships, of helping one another, ultimately we encounter this help from our Lord Himself. That He gives us His Word and His body and blood to encourage those experiencing the misfortunes of life who feel that the only way out is death, and say, whoa, let's support one another, and ultimately that sometimes in the misfortunes of life, God's profound love comes even more greatly as a result of love.